Hello and welcome to Fit Life Radio, the place where you can learn a little bit more about how your body works and find new ways to improve your health. I'm your host Petio, and I hope to provide you with as much valuable information and inspire you to become a better version of yourself. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Fit Life Radio. Now, in today's episode, I'm taking a little bit different turn. Not because I'm changing the topics or the subjects, but because I think it's important to talk about this topic because it relates. It's one of the fundamentals. It's not a specific thing that you should address or everybody should address when it comes to fat loss or weight gain or whatever, but when it comes to the actual fit life experience, it's very important to address it and to have this mindset. So what I want to talk about today is basically love. And I know a lot of people would say like, oh, but how love relates to fat loss? I want to lose weight. Why should I just love myself or whatever? Well, we're going to get into that a bit later. Now, to back that love thing, I want to talk also about struggles, because I think they're very tightly connected and one cannot actually live without the other one. So I know it sounds a bit weird and ridiculous, but trust me, stay with me and you're going to learn and you're going to get exactly what I mean by this. So first, let's start talking about actually struggles. Like, what are struggles? We try to achieve something. We have a goal. And we are basically hopping on a journey towards that goal. Let's say we have a destination and we want to achieve that. We want to get to that destination. Now, without going through the journey, without struggling towards that destination, you won't be as rewarding at the end. You won't be as, you won't feel that you actually achieved something. You wouldn't feel like we really pretty much not exactly deserved it, but like we won't be able to appreciate it as much if we didn't struggle throughout the process. It kind of makes me feel like those people, because actually there are studies on that, and the people who get who win the lottery, they obviously get financially free for a while, but there are studies showing that I think it was something like 2 years after they win the lottery, they get back to their previous financial state, which means that they get happy, but then they pretty much get back to normal, and they even lose the money because they don't know how to handle those money. They just get so much money at the same time, and they're not educated towards it. They don't know what to do with those money, and they end up spending it for a lot of weird stuff. Um, another great example, maybe, or maybe an analogy could be, imagine that you would like to climb Everest, right? So you would like to climb it, but it's like a bit of a struggle to do so, right? It's not just like you're going to the shop. It's a bit more technical than that, and it requires quite a lot of sacrifice. So instead, you pay someone who's got a helicopter to drop you on top. Now, you achieved the goal. You ended up in Everest. You stayed 2 minutes. You took a picture. You took a selfie, and then you went back down. But you didn't actually go through the struggle. You didn't actually go through the process, which is, it's a ridiculous process actually to do that. But anyway, my point is that if you don't get through the struggles, if you don't get through the journey of it, even if you achieve the end goal, I mean, it's whatever, it's like you haven't struggled, you haven't worked for it, you haven't, like, sacrificed anything towards it. You just achieved it, but how much happiness and growth is that going to give you? Now, um, of course, you're probably asking yourself, but what the hell? Like, how does that relate to weight loss? I would just want to lose like 30 pounds, or just want to lose 100 pounds. Like, this is some sort of bullshit. Okay, listen. Um, to get from, like, nobody get born obese, all right? and nobody really got obese throughout their childhood. There are extreme cases, but not really. Most of the people who get really obese, they got there because they were just pretty much living in a certain way. They were eating certain foods in a certain way, they were moving or not moving enough or whatever, and they got themselves to a place where they're severely obese, right? If I have a magical powers and I can snap my fingers and make all those people lose like 150 pounds and get them, you know, as like get their biomarkers perfectly healthy, perfectly, perfect, and get their weight perfect and get their desired aesthetic done just by me snapping my fingers, how long do you think is going to last? How long until those people get back to their previous shape? Because those people don't know the journey. Those people never lost those, like, that weight. Those people who I'm referring to, which don't exist, but you get my point. Like, if I make everyone who was obese all of a sudden lose so much weight and get in shape, I don't think it's gonna be more than a year that those people are going to get back into their previous shape, because they didn't learn how to do that. They didn't know what it takes to get to that shape. They didn't learn the process. They didn't struggle through the process. They didn't grow. So they are going to get back to their previous habits and they're going to gain the same amount of weight because there was no struggle through it, guys. It's so important to struggle through, to enjoy the damn journey. It's like what they say, it's not the journey, it's not the destination, it's the journey that matters. Well, it's the journey that is, it's the pursuit of that goal that really matters, because um like there is a book by Mark Manson. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And in that book, basically, there is one quote that really struck me, and it stays there. It's been there forever, actually. In my head, and it says, like, I'm gonna kind of like reference it, but I'm not going to give you the exact quote because, of course, I don't remember it. But it was something like, the best way to destroy a dream is to get it achieved or to achieve it. And basically, what he means is that as soon as you get to your desired destination, there is nothing else to drive you. Like, you had the desired destination, you wanted to go somewhere, you wanted to achieve something, and you had to work towards, and that was driving you, to get up in the morning. That was driving you to go through struggles, to go out and to be uncomfortable, to go through all those different stuff and pains and sacrifices because you wanted to achieve that goal. But if you achieve that goal, like, the sooner you achieve that goal, the sooner that pursuit is going to end, because there's nothing else to drive you. The sooner you get to the destination, like, the sooner you're gonna get pretty much miserable, because there's not gonna be something to drive you, to give you that energy, uh, you know, which is important to drive you, to get you going, basically. So, um, like, when it comes to fat loss, when it comes to body composition change, when it comes to, all those, even health pursuit, because this podcast, this whole fit life thing, it's about this. It's about health. It's about, like, healthy way of living. It's about, like, just not looking at the stuff the way the industry wants you to look at the stuff, but just, like, learning to fall in love with the process. This is the main reason. And I think it's very, very important. And um, like I said, for someone who is very overweight and is looking to like to lose weight, it's not going to work short term. Like, losing weight, it's a long term process. Losing weight comes with a lot of struggles. Losing weight comes with a lot of sacrifices. It comes with a lot of pain. But guess what? It comes with a lot of growth. It comes with a lot of gratitude at the end. It comes with a lot of appreciation. It comes with so much more things. And yes, it might be painful to go to the gym and to struggle a bit. It might be painful to feel a little bit hungry or to not eat pizza. But guess what? After a while, other stuff that were chronically painful are going to disappear slowly. Guess what? Other markers are going to get better. Guess what? You might get better sleep. So one pain doesn't necessarily leads to another. The right type of pain maybe leads to a better ways of living at the end of the day. And I think it's so important to get through that, and um, to realize it, that it's not easy. Like, there is another I don't know if it's a study, but I think definitely there are reports on that. So there is a show called The Biggest Loser, and basically, um, these are people that are severely overweight, and over the course of, I think, 3 months, they get into their desired shape. Now, well, I'm not saying that they didn't struggle. I'm not saying that there was something magical. No, like, they did go through hell basically. They were so miserable. They worked with coaches, they worked with trainers, with dietitians, with nutritionists or whatever. They worked with psychologists, or anyway, they did go through a lot of stuff, and they lost a lot of weight in a very short period of time. Now, the reports are that those people, they end up, most of them, they end up gaining the same weight back for like a year later. Because the thing is, it's not that they didn't struggle, but they didn't learn the right way to do that. They basically follow all the steps that the trainers told them, or the coaches or whatever told them to do, or to follow, and there were no learning process, there were no growth. They were just they were just basically, um, like a bit of a struggle, but essentially like um, a fast way to get to the desired destination. And because of that, no struggle, because of the lack of struggle, because of the lack of um, like enough experience and learning, those people gain the weight back. Those people never keep those weight off, because it's, again, it's like there's nothing to drive them anymore. I mean, they cut the loose skin, they cut the fat off, but like, what now? They have to live off 2 apples or 3 apples throughout the day, and like go and do cardio every single day, because after the show finished, and after everybody like win or whatever, what else? Like, you're gonna go back to your previous state. You're not gonna keep eating like just a little bit and training 5 times a day. No, that's not sustainable. That's not realistic. You know, that's just a fast way to lose weight. But it's not sustainable way to stay there, to stay without that weight. And as soon as you get back to your previous habits, it's basically the end. You gain back the weight. It's like, what I'm trying to teach here, what I'm trying to communicate here, is basically that losing weight, it's a very long process. It's a lot of struggle, and it's also, um, like, the faster you do it, the less likely, or the least likely you are to keep that weight off. Um, the journey is what it like. You need to understand that if you really want to change the way your body looks like, uh, you need to fall in love with the process and to never be satisfied. Because as soon as you get to the desired destination, if you don't want more, you're not gonna stay there. You're gonna go back to your previous habits, because this is the way to approach it. Most of the people approach it this way. I'm gonna, like, okay, I've got 3 months off, I want to lose as much weight as possible. That's not how it works, bro. Like, it's not sustainable, it's not realistic. Like, okay, maybe you can lose 100 pounds in 3 months, but that's not gonna be healthy, that's not gonna be sustainable. As soon as we stop working together, you're gonna go back to your normal habits before. You're not gonna keep eating healthy. You're not gonna keep eating that little. You're not gonna keep um, working out like 5 days a week. No, you're gonna go back, and then even if it like even if that person is committed to do that forever, it's not sustainable. It's not realistic. Like you cannot work out 5 days a week, like all the time. You cannot eat that little all the time. So it's not like there's gotta be something else, you know, and it's it's so important to understand it, I think, and it's so important to again, I'm gonna repeat myself again and again and again, and I think I'm gonna kind of like try to insert here a story, or basically the way I grew up in my family and why I'm so grateful for it, in order to basically highlight the fact that struggles are what really makes us thrive and what really makes us better human beings. Because um, if we get everything just like that, without like, we won't be able to appreciate the process, we won't be able to understand it and to learn how that really works. And what I'm trying to get into is basically like a story of my childhood. And I'm not gonna tell this story in order to tell you how great I am or how great my family was. It's not, that's never the case. I'm just trying to kind of back up what I'm trying to say with another analogy, and to show you that it does work. So basically, um, I have the fortune to come from a very wealthy family, at least for Bulgaria. So, in comparison to a lot of people, my family was basically able to give me all the requirements I had as a kid. They could give me um, all the food that I needed. They could give me all the technology, the phones, the games, the computers, the toys, the like whatever you can think of. But they didn't, and I didn't understand it when I was young, because I had some friends which were coming from wealthy families as well, and they were coming to school with like something like 50 euros or like $50, I would say is gonna be like the equivalent, or I don't know, it was some sort of like a ridiculous amount of money every day that they didn't know even how to spend, but they were spending for just bullshit. And even though my dad could just give me probably even the, I don't know, like, I mean, 100 per day, he said, look, you're getting breakfast at home and you're coming back from school at around 2 o'clock. So you don't really need money to buy something to eat, because you're not gonna, you have enough. So I'm gonna give you 10 leva, that's 5 euros per month, excuse me, per week, on Monday. Now, if that's not enough for you, you should find your ways. Like, if you need something, if you want to buy something that you don't need, you should save your money until Friday, or you should save money for next week, because next week I'm gonna give you again like 10 leva. So if you want something that costs 20 leva, I'm not gonna give you money for that. I'm gonna give you money if you need something which, in terms of like food or clothes or shoes or something, that you like your well-being kind of requires. But if you want something useless and it costs 20 leva, you should save your money for 2 weeks and then buy it yourself, because I'm not gonna give you the money for something that you don't need. And I wasn't very happy, of course, because I wanted to go out with friends. I wanted to go to, buy some stuff. There was like a shop in school which, it was kind of like a cafeteria, and they were selling some sort of toys as well. And I was kind of like, a lot of my friends were buying bullshits like that and sweets, and I was like, like, I really want this magazine, but I don't have the money. But I also want the sweets, but I don't have the money either. So should I buy the sweets or should I buy the magazine at the end of the week? Well, what should I do? And you know, so eventually, I understand pretty much how it works, and I was able to save a little bit, and I learned to save, and I'm quite grateful to my dad and to my family that even though they were able to give me so much, they didn't, and they taught me how to appreciate money because I see a lot of my friends now being dependent, like those same people that were given so much money as kids. They are kind of dependent on their family now in order to get the same amount of money because they increase their needs or requirements. Um, and what I mean by that is that my family was able to provide me with the necessity, in terms of food and clothes and like stuff for school, but they never gave me the comfort. They never gave me, um, you know, my desires. So um, this way, I learned that if I want something, I need to struggle for it. I need to fight for it. I need to work for it, and it taught me quite a lot. And that kind of like it relates to the fact that, well, struggles are so important. Once again, like it's important to learn the process. It's important to at the end, you know, being able to just appreciate, the outcome because it wasn't nice to not buy sweets or to not buy other snacks which my friends were eating, but it was quite nice at the end of the week to buy the magazine that I wanted to because you know like I worked for it. I wasn't just like, of course it would have been nice if I just asked my mom to buy it for me, but she wouldn't have done it anyway. So like it felt way better because I worked towards it, because I went through some struggle and I got to the place where I wanted to. So my point here with this story and with this, you know, with this basically chapter of the podcast is that struggles again for I don't know a million time are so important when it comes to change. Are so important to hack the system and to hack the game and to learn to not only win once but to win forever because I told you like it's it's the journey that matters. It's the pursuit of that happiness because if you just get to a point which makes you happy, you're gonna be happy for one day and then you're gonna be miserable again. Like what actually makes you happy is the pursuit of that happiness, is the like the struggle to get to that happiness. And again, it's so important, and I'm grateful to that I learned this lesson, even though I wasn't very up for learning it. And I said that my family didn't love me as much because my friends were having a lot more than me in school, and basically I knew that my family was capable of giving me as much as my friends or even more. Um, but yeah, like then I understand it, and then I understood that actually those people, they did love me, and they did it out of love. And here is probably like a great transition towards the second part, which I want to talk about love and mostly self-love, because now my family, they understood that if I go through this struggle, I'm gonna be better person. I'm gonna like they're gonna teach me a lesson, and by me having this knowledge, I will be able to strive basically for other success, and I will be able to seek that discomfort in a way, or learn that part of the process is the struggle and the journey. So they did it out of love. They didn't, it might have been a bit painful that I didn't have my pleasures or desires which I wanted to, but they knew eventually that this is out of love. It comes out of love. And I think it's so important, guys, to know that being able to love yourself, it's far more important than anything else. Because if you don't know what it feels like to love yourself, how would you accept the love from someone else, right? If you don't know what it is, and this is like there is a very kind of like a thin border between like loving yourself and doing the right thing, or loving your kids and doing the right thing, and then loving them or loving yourself and doing the wrong thing. And what I mean by this is that like if you know if my parents, they pretty much they love me and they did the right thing because they wanted to teach me a lesson. And if they would have given me all the money that I needed for my pleasures, they still would have done it from love, of course, but it wasn't going to be the right thing. You see what I mean? And when it comes to fat loss, especially fat loss, or any sort of body composition or health pursuit or whatever, um, if you come from a place where you love where you love yourself, you're going to succeed. But if you come from a place where you hate yourself, and this is the main reason that you want to change yourself, you're going to set yourself for failure. Um, and I'm not saying it because I've seen it. I'm not saying it because um, I've heard it so many times or on 1,000 podcasts. Um, I'm saying it because I also went through something like this. So um, I shared the story before when I was young. My family, of course, again out of love, they wanted to help me so much, and they tried to talk me into going to different sports, eating less, taking care of myself. But I was very kind of drawn towards this feeling of food gives me pleasure, and I'm going to eat as much as I want. So basically, what I would say, I was so tired at people saying to me that I should lose weight. I was so tired of people saying that yeah, it's important to look better and to look, to lose weight. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna have less pain or whatever. I was so tired of this, and I didn't see it as I didn't see the benefits. I was like, I would get to a point where I would say to my mom, I don't care, I would eat until I die, but I'm never going to stop eating or to change how I eat. I would eat as much bread as I want, I would eat as much sweet as I want, I would drink as much Coca Cola as I want, and if I die from it, I don't care. I'm gonna eat until I die. And then, I mean, that must have been so painful for my mom to hear it, but um, anyway, I remember I get to a point where I was so pissed at myself because it's not that I didn't realize that I needed to lose weight. I mean, being a kid, being super overweight, and being bullied for that from friends and family, it's not nice. So I did realize that I need to do so. But I would hate myself for it. Like, I would hate myself for the fact that I don't want to go through that struggle. I would hate so much myself for the fact that I let myself like eating that much and not exercising. I would be so envy to to other people that they're able to eat more and stay in shape and look good. I would be so pissed and angry and to so, just feel so much hate towards myself when I look myself in the mirror. I would say all the time that I'm ugly. I always said that I'm ugly. I always said that I don't look good. I always said that I don't um, I need to do something. And yes, eventually I started. Eventually I got convinced by people, by media, by the fitness industry that the only way to change that is to struggle and to do the right thing to accomplish fat loss. But that didn't come from love. That didn't come because I loved myself. That came because from the place where I really hated myself and I wanted to change something. Like that was the end, Like I had two options: to eat until I die, or eventually kill myself because I can't bear it, or like to do something to punish myself for the fact that I've let myself to go through this way and experience some sort of growth or eventually lose weight. Uh, being here obviously mean that I took the second approach. But let me tell you something, I failed miserably because that led me to a lot of insecurities. That led me to a lot of health issues. That led me to abusing a lot of supplements. Fortunately, I didn't get to steroids, and actually, I don't know why I didn't do it. Like probably it was my family that stopped me from that. I don't know, but probably I never had the guts to do that. I guess. But I abused every possible legal substance in terms of fat loss product you can think of. You know, I abused every sort of diet you can think of. Not the cotton ball diet, eating cotton dipped in orange juice, but I just stopped eating. I trained a lot. I did a lot of cardio all the time. I took so much supplements. I took so much bullshit that I read potentially works in order to lose weight and get in shape, because once I actually lost a bit of weight, then I didn't want to just lose weight. I wanted to get some muscles and I wanted to look great. I didn't want to look like skinny. I wanted to get some muscles. So you know I started working out. I started to abusing weights. I started to push a little bit too much. I didn't care about technique. I hurt myself numerous times. I ended up, I don't know from where, but like I experience it now, having the disc herniation. But it's probably from like a previous, it's probably like a summary of just training for years. Pushing myself to the limits and just punishing myself for no reason. You know, and I got to a point where I didn't want to eat anything else. Like I would basically live on coffees and cigarettes and fizzy drinks the majority of the day, because this is what helped me have less appetite and eat even less that I could eat throughout the day. And I thought that this is gonna help me lose even more weight. I thought that this is what's gonna show, this is the way for me to see my abs. And I didn't do it because I loved myself. I did it because I hated myself so much. I hated myself like to the bones basically, and I wanted to change myself so much. Like I hated every single piece of me, for the fact that I'm not like someone else and I don't look like my friends who are naturally, look fit and healthy and stuff. So, as you can, like, probably guess, that didn't. I mean, I did lose some weight. I did lose quite a lot of weight actually. I did change the way I look, but let me tell you something. Like even until this day, I still don't have abs. And I always like I'm trying to get better, and I definitely get way better since I would say 5 years ago, 5 6 years ago. But you know that's still like coming from a place of hate. It's a long, long, long journey. It's a you know I didn't start properly. I didn't start with the right resources. There were no people to guide me. There were just people to tell me like, yeah, if you want results, you gotta push hard. You gotta go and punish yourself. Oh, like you ate this cake, now we need to go and run it off, like to sweat it off or whatever. And even until today, I struggle. I really struggle, even though I understand it, even though I'm able to apply it to other people. Um, you know, I still struggle with this stuff. I'm way better, and I realize that loving yourself gives you far more benefits than hating yourself. Because now I go to the gym because this is what makes me happy. I go to I go for a walk. I eat like healthy food, and real foods, not because I want to change the way I look, but it's just because that makes me happy. It makes me feel better. It makes me better person. It gives me more energy. It gives me more freedom. Um, it gives me ability to basically go out and enjoy, because like look, my girlfriend is naturally fit. She's strong, she has endurance. She's tiny, she just she's basically a beast. And this comes natural. She didn't work towards it, and me, I have to maintain it. But it makes me happy to be able to enjoy certain activities with her. And to be able to do that, I need to maintain my shape. I need to maintain my strength. I need to maintain my physical abilities. And that makes me happy. It makes me happy to, like, going to the gym and lifting and pushing myself. It's not only about the way I look. It's, of course, there is a part of me still, damaged and probably never going to recover, wanting to look better and to have more muscles and less fats. But I don't know, I guess throughout the years I managed to reverse that and to actually start loving myself and to feeding myself properly, to feeding myself enough, to feeding myself with the right foods, and to not restrict, to not restrict and restrict myself from going out with her or going to family gatherings, or to going out and kind of like showing off that I'm eating out of a Tupperware where the other people are enjoying meals. So I would say that since I approached this journey with love towards myself, I realized that there's much more than just looking great. And you know, I could say that since then I probably look way better. Not because I feel I look way better, but because I feel happier. I feel happier doing it. And I realized that moving more, it just it brings me happiness. Going to the gym, it gives me happiness. It gives me confidence. It gives me different type of pleasure. It like and it all comes from love. If I don't love myself, it would be way worse. Like I would be pushing myself, and I will eventually be way less healthy, and I will have way worse connections, way worse relationships with everyone. I won't be able to enjoy certain foods. I won't be able to go out. I won't be able to enjoy, activities and stuff, because yeah, I'm gonna look great, but what's the price? Like you can still look great and loving yourself, and this is the more sustainable approach. This is the realistic long-term approach, because if you hate yourself, yes, you might get to your goals even sooner, but it's not gonna be forever. Eventually, at some point, you will just fall off, and you would just, if you don't damage yourself that much, as me, to realize that something should change, you would just kind of give up and never be in shape. But if you approach it from love and feel like, okay, it doesn't feel nice to go to the gym, or to go out for a walk, but I know that that's gonna give my body something that it needs. So instead of staying home and watching TV and just addressing the pleasure, I'm gonna provide some love to myself, and I'm gonna go and give my body what it needs. you know or when it comes to food, it's pretty much the same. All right, I'm gonna enjoy these potato chips, and I'm gonna eat the whole jar of peanut butter. Yeah, that's gonna give me some pleasure, true, but it's just gonna be for now. Like, what's really going to be beneficial for me and for my body is to feed my body with a proper nutrient dense food, which, by the way, doesn't taste like like crap. I mean, nutrient dense food is like, there's so much variety of foods out there. You can cook and you can have great meals. If you look at most of the master chef meals, they're nutrient dense food. They address protein, they address fats, they address carbohydrates. you know so, and they're tasty as hell, for sure, or at least they look that tasty. So, you know just like being able to choose between really poor quality food and good quality food, it's a matter of love. It's not a matter of you know uh, how much I love myself, so I'm gonna uh, provide myself with pleasure. No, like, I love myself that much, so I'm not gonna give that pleasure to my body, and I'm gonna give a little bit of struggle, but I'm gonna give what my body really needs. I'm gonna educate my body, and I'm gonna give it what it really needs in terms of food. And this is what's going to really make you a better person. This is what's going to make you a healthier person. like like being able to understand the way the self love works, or the concept of self love, it's super important. And this is why those two things are so important. um, because you know as soon as we understand that we should just love each, like, not only love each other but love ourselves. And this is why I started in the beginning talking about it's so easy for some reason to apply it to other people but not to us, because, like, it's so easy to apply love to my dog and stop my dog from chasing cars because that's dangerous for my dog. But it's not as easy to stop myself from eating pleasurable foods, or to stop myself watching TV all day, right? So this is what we should understand, that love comes in many different ways, but self-love is just one. Giving to ourselves what we really need, treating ourselves like a person that we really love is going to help us a lot. And that means going through struggles, that means being out of the comfort zone, that means accepting challenges, that means pushing a little bit further, that means setting goals which are not going to be able to achieve, but we are going to enjoy the process so much, because this is the way. This is the way, guys. This is the way to just to thrive, at least in my perspective, at least like from what I've seen, like successful people or very healthy people doing with a great relationship. Like, this is it. This is what the main thing that they do. They love themselves, and they're able to provide their bodies with what they need, and they also are able to understand that struggle is a very important part of the process. So in order to grow and feel better and thrive, you need to go through this process. I've seen it in many people. I've seen people realize it, and I've seen massive changes. I've also experienced it myself, and I'm telling you, like, if you really want to change yourself, love yourself and push yourself a little bit more. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you like the information I provide you, feel free to check out my website, fitlifeblueprints.com. There's plenty of information there. There's blog, there's more information about the podcast, there's free resources, there are guides, there are books. You can just go and check it out yourself. And with that being said, thank you again, and see you later. Bye. Thank you for tuning to Fit Life Radio. I hope you learned something useful, or at least had a bit of color to your commute. If you enjoyed the show, please share the love by introducing it to friends and family. And if you don't mind, please leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Thank you for your support, and until next time, stay fit.